Oh shit.
Howdy do, everybody. This is Emmett Watkins Jr., also known as EJ Sponge 61, all over the internet. All over, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but this is me coming back with a follow-up to my previous Kamikaze video. In my previous Kamikaze video, I was talking about some of the general reaction to the album Kamikaze by Eminem. And here I am with just a strict review on just the music. Of course, you know, in any music review, you can't just stick completely to the music because, you know, some of the context around the situation does play into the enjoyment of the music a little bit. But we're going to stick as close to the music as we can. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So of course you guys know I do a track by track breakdown, but I also like to start these videos with a little bit of overview of me as an Eminem fan in general. I'll keep this brief since you guys were reminded last year during my revival review, my history with Eminem, and I just put out another Kamikaze video talking about my history with Eminem. So long story short, been an Eminem fan for a really long time. I've been aware of him since, Marshall Mathers LP and everything around the time where he started to blow up, even Slim Shady LP. But I really became a hardcore fan around the Relapse era. That's really where I started, becoming a more hardcore listener. Just had his tracks on loop from, Relapse for a long time. That's back when you downloaded music offline and you listened to that music for a good 3 months straight because you didn't know if the internet connection was going to be stable enough to download more music. At least over here where I live, I used to live in a more rural part of the state in Georgia. And yeah, I just had that shit on loop on my PSP until I started noticing he was doing a lot of things with words that not a lot of artists were doing. And from there, I've been a fan. And through the ups and downs over the last couple of years, I've still remained a fan. And then we have this new album that has come out, Kamikaze. Very excited when it came out. I had a shitty day the day it came out, or I guess the night it came out. So coming home after a long and hard day to a new Eminem album, completely unexpected, it just lit my soul on fire in the best way possible. And I was really hype about it. I had a whole Twitter thread, just going off about my hype and everything. But now that it's been a couple days and I've seen the reactions, those reactions I've reacted to in a separate video, that will likely be, linked to at the end of this one. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about the music itself and my opinions on the music itself. We're going to start with the first track, The Ringer. The Ringer is the track that most people have heard. It's the first track on the album. It's a really good punch to let you know just what's about to happen. It's an excellent track. From an instrumental point of view, it has a more traditional rap beat, but the beat itself kind of feels a little bit synthy, and has a little bit of a spooky vibe to it. It's very ominous, especially when you know the type of lyrical content that Eminem is going to put on it. Not in the way of him being, lyrically talented, but in the fact of him, he's coming at a lot of people. He's being very aggressive on this album as a whole, and I think this is a great, foreshadowing of that style and that direction for most of the album. So yeah, M works well on the instrumental, excellent flow, of course, and it's just one big verse. There's no chorus or anything, just one big verse. And what I'm gonna do for a lot of these tracks is highlight a couple bars, because Eminem is a bar-minded individual. He's about the lyrics, so I like to highlight some specific bars that he said that kind of, brought the song up for me. And, a lot of these bars I didn't catch the first time. This is the type of thing where I had to listen over and over again, and then I caught it on, the third or fourth listen, maybe even past that. I've had this on repeat for a while now. It's been out almost a week. So, almost a week since I'm recording this. So yeah, one bar he has towards the beginning, but bitch, I'm off the chain like Kayla Brown. Now that bar alone doesn't sound impressive, but I actually had to look this up. I didn't know who Kayla Brown was. Apparently Kayla Brown was a kidnap victim who was held captive on a rural property in South Carolina for 65 days. She was chained to a metal cage in 2016. That is fucking crazy. First off, Eminem does a lot of shit like this where he'll reference like random headlines and stuff. And it's kind of weird because, no one just references a horrific event like that and, just keeps going. But, it's hard to it's hard to call too much foul on that because, you know, it's just a headline, and if all the stories are negative and you're going to reference stuff out of the headlines, you know, some bars are going to have some things like this in it. But that's pretty clever. Bitch, I'm off the chain like Kayla Brown. Kind of clever, kind of like slightly kind of jokey about it. But, you know, from a standpoint of bars, and, you know, Eminem has that mindset of, you know, underground rap, battle rap. The more vile something is, the more disgusting something is, the more upsetting something is, the higher quality the bar as far as in those circles of battle rap is concerned. So I'm not surprised he's coming back with a vengeance like this on this track and on this album. Another bar I'd like to highlight, I can see why people like Lil Yachty, but not me though. Not even this, and it just ain't for me. All I am is simply just an MC. Maybe Stan just isn't your cup of tea. Maybe your cup's full of syrup and lean. I like that bar a lot. You know, just saying, he has it straight up saying it at the start of the album that he does have a disdain for this new trap wave, this new trap sound, even though he's not necessarily trying to hate everybody, or he's not even trying to diss everyone. It's just him just showing the fact that he doesn't like this new wave. And for a lot of people, for a lot of us out there that, you know, listen to Eminem or listen to a lot of more lyrically minded, lyrically focused artists, you know, your Royce the 5'9", well, Kendrick and Cole feels kind of like cheating because, you know, they're very popular nonetheless. But even Cole, a lot of people shat on Cole's last album, but if you break down those bars, he's, you know, painting some pretty detailed pictures. And, you know, stuff like Tribe Called Quest, they came out with an album not too long ago, their final album not too long ago, Thank You For Your Service. Yeah, it's just calling out this new wave of hip hop and this new direction hip hop is taking. With the Lil Yachty line, just showing his disdain for it, and then showing the dichotomy between Stan, people who like Stan, and then people who like this new wave are probably, you know, the lean drinking people. So, you know, I thought that was kind of clever, you know, good flow there and everything. Another bar, old me killed a new me. Old me killed a new me, watch him bleed to death. I breathe on the mirror, I don't see my breath. Possibly I'm dead, I must be possessed. Like an evil spell, I'm EVIL. Like, first time I heard that, I was like, fuck. That basically, you know, talking about how, you know, Eminem's old self, apparently the one who made Revival, was he's wiping that slate clean by killing that person off and becoming a new type of M. And, you know, he's talking. I really like this bar at the end of that, you know, series of bars where he says, I'm an evil spell, I'm EVIL, where he literally just spells out the word evil spell. Like, that's a good bar. That's a really, really solid bar. So I love that one. Some more bars we're going to highlight. Turn down for what? I ain't loud enough. Now turn the volume up, because I don't know how I'm going to get your mouth to shut. Now when it doesn't matter what caliber I spit at, I bet $100,000 you'll turn around and be just like, man, how the fuck Sourpuss gonna get mad just because his album sucks and now he wants to take it out on us? Thought that was a good line of bars too. Starting at the top there, turn down for what? Turn the volume up. Valium, you know, Eminem has, you know, he's had drug problems in the past, and Valium is one of the drugs he was addicted to, or I believe the drug he was addicted to. So kind of calling back to that. Maybe even a slight indirect hint that, hey, all you people that say I was only good on drugs, I'm getting to that level again with this album. But I don't think he's actually trying to hint towards that, because, you know, I don't think he's hinting that he's even getting close to drugs again, or, you know, I don't think he's trying to get down into that path again. But it's definitely really interesting how he used that. Maybe just a self-diss on himself even. But anywho, I thought that was kind of cute. Wow, kind of cute. Sounded kind of dissy, but not supposed to be dissy. I thought it was a cool bar. Anyway, and then, you know, he's kind of trying to de-escalate the opinions of those that are already out there. People saying, oh man, he just made this album because his last album sucked. Kind of just taking the steam out of that argument already by just addressing it on the track immediately. Question how effective that's going to be, because people just don't give a shit and they're just talking their shit anyway. I've seen a lot of hate on this album already, even less than a week after it's been out. And of course, I've talked about this in the other video as well. Once again, it'll be linked at the end of this one. But, you know, I like how he did the 8 Mile thing where he's just trying to take the gas out of somebody else before they can even talk some shit. Very, very cool of him to do, I guess. Interesting for him to do. Another bar, Lil Pump, Lil Xan imitate Lil Wayne. I should take aim at everybody in the game, pick a name. Once again, another example of its disdain for trap and this new wave of artists, specifically going at Lil Pump and Lil Xan, who really do, in a lot of ways, imitate some of Lil Wayne's discography. And it's kind of, just kind of saying how not only are they not that lyrically good, they're not even that original. Because at least Lil Wayne, for some of the bullshit music he has, he can spit at the end of the day. He still can spit at the end of the day. So I got some heavy respect for Lil Wayne. So, and then these imitators can't even match him. That's just, kind of crazy. But, in this new era, you don't necessarily need to match somebody lyrically to be successful. So, him just calling that out. And then I should take aim at everybody in the game, pick a name. He definitely takes aim at a lot more names, but that'll be happening later on in the track list. Another bar, you can order a quarter pounder when you go to McDonald's, but if you're looking to get a porterhouse, you better go get Revival. But y'all are acting like it tried to serve you up a slider. That's just a reference to M and his disdain for all the hate that Revival got. It's kind of disheartening because, yes, Revival had problems, but especially after listening to Kamikaze, I've actually been listening to Revival for the last couple weeks. I've been turning it on every now and then because it is lyrically, Eminem still brings it. And with his references here, it's like when he calls Revival a porterhouse in this bar, it does make me think just a little bit, maybe Revival a little bit better than we were considering. Once again, this is something I talked more on in the other video, just talking about the Revival criticism or the Kamikaze criticism. But yeah, Eminem still had it lyrically. If it wasn't for some instrumental choices, of course, he probably would have had a more positively received album. But lyrically, he's still on point. And that was definitely the case throughout just about all of Revival. But he understands that people don't like it. But it seems to me, not just with this reference and with some other references to the album that are in this, some other references to Revival that are in Kamikaze, M seems like he really tried on Revival. A lot of people have claimed he just phoned it in. And if just looking at the themes he was trying to talk about in Revival and how passionate he is about the reaction to it in this Kamikaze album, it tends me to believe that he actually did try. Revival was him actually trying to give it a shot, and he just hasn't figured it out yet. But with this album, Kamikaze, I think he's, getting on the right track. He's going somewhere that might be a little bit more positively received in the future. And so the next bar, now you see why I don't sleep, not even a wink, I don't even blink, I don't doze off, I don't even nod my heads to the beat, I don't even close my fucking eyes when I sneeze. Great bar there, just, kind of just going on and on about the fact that he doesn't sleep, but I like the images he's painting. I don't nod my heads to the beats, he doesn't nod off at all, because he doesn't even nod his head to the beats, and I don't even close my fucking eyes when I sneeze. That's a good ass bar, and that paints a very vivid picture as well. And then another bar, oh man, that BET Cypher is weak. It was garbage. The thing ain't even orange. Oh my god, that's a reach. Shout out to all my colorblind people, each and every one of y'all. If you call fire engine green, aquamarine, or you think water is peach, dog, that's a date. Looks like an olive to me. No, look, there's an apple. No, it's not. It's a peach. I love that series of bars so well. This is actually a call out to Charlemagne the God, who kind of got at Eminem over the BET Cypher, the infamous BET Cypher where he came at Trump very hard. And talking about the thing ain't even orange, that's a reference to a bar M had where he, said, racism's the only thing he's fantastic for. Cause that's how he gets his rocks off, and he's orange. That Fantastic Four, the thing, that's just a really good bar in my opinion. Maybe slightly stretchy, but the stretchy part ain't the fact that the thing is orange, cause the thing is orange. I don't know what example the thing hasn't been orange and what medium he hasn't been orange, but he's orange. That's just an indisputable fact, and people just, if you're gonna hate on a bar, hate on it for a factual reason. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool stretch of bars right there. And then Charlemagne the God does get referenced a couple more times throughout the album. On to the next bar. Welcome to the slaughterhouse. Invite him in like a one a day. Now that second part, in vitamin, like a one a day vitamins, like that's a clever line right there, just with the wordplay. But also, welcome to the slaughterhouse, bitch. I'm hoping that might be some type of a reference just to keep those Slaughterhouse fans such as me alive. Slaughterhouse being a rap group that is signed to Shady Records. They put out one album since they've been signed to Shady Records, that is Welcome to Our House, and it was a solid album, but they had been teasing a new album called Glass House, and they actually announced a tour and everything, and the whole tour got canceled, and the album simply just never came out. And it was really upsetting for all of us fans. And since, Joe Budden's retired from rapping, Joe Budden being a member of Slaughterhouse, members of Slaughterhouse being Joe Budden, Crooked I, now known as King Crooked, Joel Ortiz, and Royce the 5'9". All these members are in different states in life now. Joe Budden, like I said, he's retired from rapping. He's doing his whole podcast thing, and doing very well at it. He signed himself a Spotify deal, so congrats to him. And then you have Joel Ortiz. He's still making music, but he's a lot more low-key now, it seems. Royce 5'9" still making music and getting, quite a bit of success, if I might add. He's doing some big things. And King Crooked is still making music, but he just straight up just left the group because Slaughterhouse just isn't active right now. They're not putting out music. They're not rapping, and he likes rapping. So he left Slaughterhouse to go make a group with his Horseshoe Gang group that is part of his COB label. Circle of Bosses label. He made a group called Family Business, and they're making music now. So maybe this shout out from Eminem on this bar, Welcome to the Slaughterhouse, maybe that's a little bit of hope that if the group doesn't get back together, at least maybe Glass House will still come out one day. I'm personally hoping either someone leaks it or whatever legal mumbo jumbo fades away at a certain point after a couple years, and then we can finally get our ears on this album, because Slaughterhouse is my favorite group musically of all time. They're in my top 5, right up there with Eminem, and Kendrick and Beyonce and Michael Jackson, and that's my whole top 5. So yeah, hopefully that's something, or it's just a throwaway reference and nothing more. But I'd like to look into it. And then next up, this last bar, there are these last few bars I'd like to highlight. But if I could go back, I'd at least reword it and say I empathize with the people this evil serpent sold the dream to that he's deserted. But I think it's working. These verses are making him a wee bit nervous, and he's too scared to answer me with words because he knows that he will lyrically get murdered. But I know at least he's heard it, because Agent Orange has sent the Secret Service to meet me in person. I really think he's hurting him, or to meet in person to see if I really think of hurting him, or ask if I'm linked to terrorists. I said only when it comes to ink and lyricists. I thought that was a crazy string of bars as well. Of course, I'm not doing justice to that flow. His flow is impeccable right there. But I like how not only is he talking about that Trump freestyle and a lot of the Trump criticism he's had in the album Revival, but he feels like it's having somewhat of an impact, even though Trump hasn't responded publicly, because the Secret Service actually visited him, which I found is crazy, because I don't even think the Secret Service got called on Marshall when he made Mosh way back in the day during the Bush presidency. That Mosh, of course, being a song that was heavily critical of George W. Bush and kind of rallied people to get out and vote against him. So I was really impressed that Trump felt so threatened to send Secret Service agents out here. Like, that's hilarious. Like, YG had a similar thing happen. With YG, he made the song FDG, which of course stands for Fuck Donald Trump. And one of the verses in that song, actually not by YG, by Nipsey Hussle, was featured on that track. He kind of indirectly said, you might get smoked if you win. Smoked meaning you might get shot if you win the election. And of course that's what happened. So YG got talked about it, and then YG, there's articles written about YG when he got talked to by the government saying, I'm a square, I don't do that shit no more. So it's interesting to see that M got a talking to as well. I thought that was fucking crazy, and it's interesting to see that M did have an impact, and it seems like Trump's just too afraid to say something about it, because you tweet something, it'll be in another bar. I'm sure that is the case. So that was just fascinating to hear. That was a fascinating part. And so that's enough of the bar glorification for this first track, The Ringer. I feel like that's going to be the most bars I'm going to highlight in the whole album. There was just a lot there I wanted to break down. So without further ado, we're going to go on to the next track, The Greatest. Now, this is a Mike Will Made It beat, and I love this beat so much. The beat goes really, really hard, kind of like DNA or even Humble off of the Kendrick album, both of which were produced by Mike Will as well. So it has that really hard-hitting just feel to it, but there's like a guitar riff in the back, and I feel like that guitar riff makes it feel more like an Eminem song. I just think of Eminem's kind of like the punk rock guy of hip hop in some aspects. So the little guitar riff that's also in the background kind of makes it feel, you know, it matches Eminem's aggression. So I like it. And then Eminem has great flow throughout the entire song on here. And the chorus, as far as I understand, the chorus is actually parodying a Playboi Carti song. I don't listen to Playboi Carti too much, but that's what I've been led to believe. So, you know, that's interesting. He's doing a little bit of a parody of some of these trap artist flows and such. And interesting to see that Eminem's aware that shit is changing. He's not necessarily trying to do his own spin on these new trends, but he's just showing that he's aware of these trends by just directly copying them. Maybe even paying a little bit of homage if you want to stretch it that way, but, you know, it's there nonetheless. A handful of bars I want to highlight, not nearly as many as The Ringer, but a couple of bars I want to highlight. So one bar, you better bring more men than the Latter-day Saints, Manic State, Stephen Paddock with automatic stay spraying at anything that may stand in their way as I stand in the window with a hand grenade and a tray 8 at the Mandalay Bay. Common sense, I'm $1 short and a day late. James Holmes at the Saturday Batman matinee. This is fucking crazy too. Once again, as we talked about with the first bar that I highlighted in The Ringer, M likes bringing headlines into his raps at times, and especially if they have a name that's like particularly interesting and he can rhyme it with. Stephen Paddock being the guy who from the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas mowed down a lot of people at a country concert only a few months ago. I want to say that was either earlier this year or late last year it happened. I remember doing a little bit of a project about it for college, but he's referencing that, and then he's also referencing James Holmes at the Saturday Batman matinee. James Holmes being that orange hair freak who shot up a bunch of people in a Batman showing back when Dark Knight Rises was in theaters. That was a long time ago, but basically referencing these guys to say that he's gonna lyrically kill everybody, which is kind of a, you know, kind of fucked up way to say it, but you know, Eminem isn't one to mince words. So I think that's a pretty creative way of saying it. Fairly edgy way of saying it. Not to the point where I feel like he should have used something different. I'm just like, shit. Okay, we're doing it like that today. And those are bars that I once again did not catch the first time around. I had to look some of that shit up. The James Holmes thing kind of stuck out because Batman matinee, and I was like, is he making a similar thing? Because actually Joe Budden made a similar reference back on a Slaughterhouse mixtape not too long, or actually pretty long ago now. So it's interesting to see that. Another bar I want to highlight, because if I lose it, we can rewind to some old Ja Rule shit, and I can remind motherfuckers how I do shit. Making a reference to the beef Eminem had with Ja Rule back in the early 2000s, which, you know, kind of maybe indirectly or directly contributed to the end of Ja Rule's career. No one really heard much from Ja Rule after that beef was over. And that diss track is one of my favorite diss tracks of all time. He gets, you know, that's back when D12 was still active, which we will talk about later. And he gets a lot of D12 homies on there to ride on Ja Rule. Just classic, and it kind of goes to show if you go back to listen to some of those old Ja Rule disses and some other disses for, like, you know, Mariah Carey and members of Everlast and stuff. Eminem can like really hurt people's feelings if he wishes to. And these tracks here on this album are just a little bit of a hint at that. Even with the one track that does come off as just a straight up diss track, M still has, you know, a great deal of his gloves on. So it's interesting to see how that works out. And so we're going to go on to the next one. And then right after that, or maybe not right after that, but later on in the song, he has a pretty clever, or at least, pretty cool to see reference to Kendrick's hit single off of Damn, Humble, where, M just in the middle of the song just shouts out, "Revival didn't go viral. Deshaun and Royce tell me that I should take the high road." Like, that's cool. Just with the shout out to Kendrick in that kind of way, another self jab about Revival. Kind of a cool thing. But also, Deshaun and Royce tell me that I should take the high road. Kind of interesting because, it feels like M, with making this album, it feels like M just kind of caved to his critics and is just going completely against the grain on everything that he was doing. And it kind of leaves me conflicted because I really like this album. I really like Kamikaze. I enjoy it greatly. But you can tell that Eminem really tried with Revival, and you can tell he was trying to do something. You can tell he was trying to go somewhere, especially with all the passion that he has about Revival that you see on this album. So when Denon and Royce, Denon being ex-member with D12 with Eminem, and now he's just like a shady artist now who is oftentimes Eminem's hype man at certain performances. Royce 5'9" goes without introduction. He's a great MC, one of Eminem's longtime friends. Both of them telling him he should take the high road. Interesting. Interesting that they would be like, "Yo, don't cave into the hate because niggas on the internet just gonna hate." But M's like, "Nah, man. People are saying that I didn't try," and I think that's the thing Eminem most takes problem with. The fact that people are saying, well, some people are saying, was he ever good after that last album came out? And then others are saying he just didn't try on the album. And I think that's the thing he wants people to understand. He did try on the album. I feel like that's for certain now. And I feel like that's the reason we're getting Revival. So just interesting he kept that line in there that he should take the high road. And of course, right after he's like, "Nah, fuck that." And another bar I want to highlight, bars are like bullets when I spit them schemes. That's why I call these motherfuckers M16s. Great line there. Because if the bars are like bullets, he uses at the end of the line M16s, M's 16s, like M16s, like Eminem 16s, and 16s, of course, being a common phrase in the hip hop landscape for a sweet 16. Usually, 16 bars is about the common amount of bars you'd have in a song that is like a single. 16 bars and you put the chorus, 16 bars you put a chorus. That's the typical amount of bars that most people ask for certain songs. So motherfuckers M16s, that I like the gunplay or the word gunplay that he's employing there. And then the final bar I want to highlight out of this song, but like a wedding band, you got to be a diamond to even climb in the ring. An anomaly, I'm Muhammad Ali. I love that bar so much. I caught that one on the first try, on the first listen, and I was like, shit, that's a good ass bar. And this actually comes right at the end of the song. If you don't get it, like a wedding band, you got to be a diamond to even climb in the ring. There is a ring inside of a diamond that you give to someone when you engage them, and you have to be a diamond, as in a very rare, very beautiful piece of an artist, to even climb in the ring with him to compete, to fight, similar to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, of course, being a diamond in the boxing world. And so I thought that was just a really cool bar. I like that bar a whole lot. And then that leads us on to Lucky You featuring Joyner Lucas. Now I'm not much of a Joyner person. I'm not a hater or anything. I just don't listen to him much. But after this feature, I've already gone out and watched a couple YouTube videos of him. And dude's a very solid lyricist, and he proves so on this track with Eminem, Lucky You. So first off, the beat, I dig the beat. It has some like creepy vibes. It has like a creepy child vibe. Think like The Shining, where it has that like, kind of creepy but also kind of innocent sounding, kind of alluring type thing, kind of like It, something like that. And it kind of sounds similar to Music Box on Relapse, if anyone remembers that old Eminem track. It has that like kind of creepy vibe that's a little bit alluring. And I love how Joyner and M's bridges mirror each other on this track. If you listen to both of their verses, they both begin their verses in very similar ways. And that bridge is kind of, they mirror on top of each other. And I really like that, I guess, dichotomy there between each of them, with them both being at different points in their career, the complete opposite points of their career. It's interesting to see, the more introspective bars from M and the more hungry bars from Joyner in those sections. And of course, they both snap on it, and the hook is very, very catchy. I feel like this would make a great single. I just saw that M put out a video for fall. I'm hoping a video for Lucky You is not too far behind, because I feel like this one would work so well as a single. So now I just want to highlight a couple of bars. First off, I want to highlight some bars from Joyner. Ain't no gangster, but I got some bangers, some chains and some blades and a couple knives, choppers and jammies. A part to the pear tree. My 12 days of Christmas was nothing but lies. Great imagery right there. Some fantastic, you're just, talking about all this hood shit that he's been exposed to in his life. And then he starts saying partridge or pear tree. And then that seems like it's weird, but then he wraps it back up immediately after with my 12 days of Christmas was nothing but lies. Like, kind of hinting that that's the type of shit he got for Christmas. Like, that's the type of shit he saw instead of the, joyous, happy things that usually comes with the holidays. Pretty good wordplay right there. Or just a good, painting a scene right there. Another couple bars I want to highlight. I live in Mars, I'm not Bruno. Bitch, I'm a dog, call me Cujo. You play your cards, I reverse on you, you're all, and I might drop 4 like a Uno. And then he goes into a little bit of Spanish, which I'll get into in a little bit. So those first couple bars, I live in Mars, not a Bruno. Bruno Mars. Clever line right there. The Cujo reference when he calls himself a dog, that's kind of clever too. And then I play your cards in reverse on you all. I like the Uno, just the little small section just talking about a bunch of aspects of Uno. The reverse card, and then just cards in general, and then dropping 4 cards like Uno. Clever shit. I really like that type of shit. And he speaks a little bit of Spanish here, but he actually, funny thing that, I saw people mentioning online, that I didn't pick up at first, because I'm in French class and tried Spanish multiple times. It did not work. And maricon, is a word that he says on here, and I believe that's actually Spanish for the F word. The F word not being fuck, the gay slur. And so that word was actually said on this album, just not in English. So a lot of people have been getting at Eminem over his Tyler the Creator line, and I find it funny that in that case he censors the word, but in this case he says it just in a different language, and people just overlook it entirely. Just found it interesting. Just something that gets overlooked pretty easy. I don't know if there's necessarily something further I want to say about that. I've talked a lot about this type of stuff already in the other video. So yeah, just wanted to point it out. And then a final bar from Joyner that I really liked. Literally the last bars he says on the track. Snakes in the grass trying to slither fast. I just brought a fucking lawnmower. That's just like, once again, pretty vivid imagery. Just going over the grass, just chopping up all these snakes with a lawnmower. Really good. And then we get into the bridge from Eminem once again. I won a couple of Grammys, but I sold my soul to get them. Wasn't in it for the trophies, just a fucking recognition. Fucks the difference. I'm that cracker, bend the law, fuck the rules, man. I used to risk it all, and now I got too much to lose. I've been eating long enough, man. My stomach should be full. I like this because this is more introspection from Eminem. I love it when he gets into his thoughts on his career and shit. That is that's crack for me. I love that type of shit. Won a couple Grammys, but I sold my soul to get them. I think he recognizes that he did chase some of the pop sound just a little bit to get the success that he has gotten. Even on Marshall Mathers LP2, an album that I really like, The Monster is straight up a pop hit. And it was on the radio for, a good while because of it. So it's interesting to see him, making that admittance. It's kind of interesting. And he wasn't in it for the trophies, just a recognition. And I agree. What the fuck is the difference? You're getting recognized for your talent. You're getting recognized. But maybe, do you need the actual recognition of the trophies and everything? It's an interesting concept to think about. And, people say, oh, I'm not in it for the awards. You just want to be respected as a lyricist. Well, how do you grade your respect? Do you grade your respect in these trophies, or do you grade your respect in, Snoop shouts me out, Dre shouts me out, Cube shouts me out, and then these young'uns that are killing it, Cole says I inspired him, Kendrick, and all these other MCs. Like, that's fascinating, man. I really like that. I just thought that was a great line. Just that's like a tattoo worthy line. Wasn't in it for the trophies, just a fucking recognition. Fucks the difference. That's a tattoo worthy line, in my opinion. Just a lot to think over on that line. I'm that cracker. He just flips the "I'm that nigga" line from Joyner Lucas in the previous section of the song. I thought it was kind of funny. And the rest of that is just, talking about how he's still hungry, even though he's well off, he's had his success, he's done everything, but M still is hungry, of course. And so then that goes on to another bar. You got a couple of ghostwriters, but to these kids, it don't actually matter. They're asking me what in the fuck happened to hip hop. I said I don't have any answers because I took an L when I dropped my last album. It hurt me like hell, but I'm back on these rappers. I love that series of lines as well, because, ghostwriting is a thing that's been common in popular music forever, but now it's leaking into rap. And rap is one of the few genres of music, one of the few spaces of music in which your ability to write means so much more than so many other aspects of the music itself. So when people are giving up their writing ability or just don't have any writing ability, and just just depending on ghostwriters and things like that, it is baffling to those of us, like Eminem, who value lyrical content, who value lyrical prowess so highly. So yeah, and of course it doesn't matter to this new wave, because effectively, with pop being the most listened to genre right now, and not just like right now, it's the most listened to genre like in general, like that's just how it is now. With that being the case, people just are not going to care so much about the quality of the music they're listening to. Once you hit a certain level of popularity, it doesn't care if it's good or not. It's just what's popular. It's just what everyone's talking about, and it's what the radio is just going to play. And so, yeah, I thought it was cool for him to speak on that a little bit. And I also think it was cool to admit that he did take an L when he dropped his last album. A lot of people did not like it. Seems like maybe indirectly he's admitting, hey, I maybe made a handful of instrumental choice mistakes and stuff like that. Admitting that the album did have some problems. And the fact that he was hurt by it. Even listening to Revival again recently, you look at the song like Walk on Water, it's talking about how M's already been receiving a lot of the hate that he got for Revival. He was already starting to receive. You look like wow. You look at a song like Walk on Water, he was already starting to receive a lot of that hate just in general, because people didn't like Marshall Mathers LP2 that much either. And so Walk on Water, he's kind of more vulnerable, and then people just shat on not just that song but the whole album anyway. So it hurt him like hell. And I feel like that hurt is a large reason why we have this Kamikaze album. Next bar I want to highlight: shit is a circus. You clowns that are coming up don't give an ounce of a motherfuck about the ones that were here before you to make raps. I thought that was a great bar as well, because that is one thing that irks me. Of course, I like some of these trap songs, I'm not even gonna lie, but one thing that irks me is when I see interviews of these young kids and this new wave who aren't even aware of the discography or any of the songs of some of these older artists. They claim that they're better than some of these older artists when, just factually on paper, that's just not true. And then, I've seen a handful of freestyles from this new generation, and then they play like a old Biggie beat, or like a old Tupac instrumental, and they're just like, nah, man, I can't rap on that. Like, it's crazy, man. They're just not able to. They're not able to play with the greats. They're not able to interact in that same sphere. They need to be separated. They separate themselves. So it's just like, it's a little bit disheartening to see that type of shit from people who respect the game and respect those who have been before, and still are a fan of a lot of those acts as well. So yeah, it's cool to see him talk about that. Another bar I want to highlight: you could never say to me that I am not a fucking record breaker. I sound like a broken record every time I break a record. Great line right there, playing with that broken record and breaking records motif right there. Excellent wordplay. Just not much I can say about it. Just good wordplay. You should probably get that just on its face. I got spite inside my DNA, but I wrote till the wheels fall off. I'm working tirelessly. Not only a pretty fun reference to Kendrick Lamar's hit DNA from Damn. Once again, a lot of Damn references on this album. But also writing until the wheels fall off and tirelessly. If the wheels fall off, you don't have any tires, and he's working tirelessly. Clever wordplay. I like it. And the final set of bars I want to highlight is that moment y'all been waiting for, like California wishing rain would pour, in that drought that y'all have been praying for, my downfall, from the 8 Mile to the Southpaw, still the same Marshall, that outlaw. I like that bar a lot. Not just saying that, because it works in multiple ways. You know, California has been suffering a drought. It's been suffering from a lot of wildfires recently. So, you know, they've been praying for rain. And so they're hoping that people were praying for Eminem's downfall, kind of, you know, using that to also kind of talk about the downfall of rain, like literal rain. So I thought that was a clever comparison there. And then also from the 8 Mile to the Southpaw, both movie soundtracks that Eminem was heavily involved in, that all of Shady Records was heavily involved in. The Southpaw soundtrack's actually really solid. Y'all should go out and listen to that if you're a fan of any of the Shady music artists. And so yeah, I thought it was just a clever way to like bookmark the two sides, the two eras of Shady. Because 8 Mile was definitely still in 50 Cent at the height of his popularity. D12 was still a big deal at the time. And then you go to Southpaw, where you got a Slaughterhouse track, you got Catfish Billy himself, Yellow Wolf on there. You got some Skylar Grey features as well. Just an interesting bookmark using both of the movie soundtracks to kind of indicate that. That was pretty cool. And then, of course, after that song, we go on to the Paul skit. Paul skit, you know, funny, nostalgic. You know, it's just a skit in which Paul says, hey, are you going to make an album about every reaction you get when someone doesn't like one of your albums? And then when people don't like Kamikaze, is he just going to make an album responding to people who didn't like Kamikaze? And then it's just Kamikaze 2. And like, you know, the snake eat its tail. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Not much to comment on here, but, you know, just funny Paul skit. And, of course, Paul skit is going to be nostalgic for anybody who's a true Eminem fan. Or, let me not say true Eminem fan, but anybody who's been a long-time fan, they're aware of the infamous Paul skits on his previous albums, like the Marshall Mathers LP. So just seeing that on the track list before you even listen to it just hits a certain bone in your brain, just calling back to that era. And then we go on to the next song, Normal. Very strange instrumental. There's actually two instrumentals in this song. The first instrumental sounds pretty odd. Odd in a, I want to say it's odd in a good way, but it's just really like, it's just like weird. It's like when you get a good it's like when you scratch somewhere and you get that really satisfying feeling of getting a good scratch in, but it's like in a weird spot. It's like in your ear or something. Or it's like in a spot that just is like a struggle to reach, but once you get there, it just feels good. It's kind of like that. And what I wrote, I've written notes. That's why this is going at a somewhat brisker pace than my other video. Because I actually recorded this and it was like an hour and a half long, and I was like, no, I can do that. So I'm re-recording it. Yeah, this kind of sounds like a nighttime beach level in a Ratchet and Clank game. Which is the best way I could say it. It just sounds like it belongs in a video game, but it's also kind of tropical, but it's also kind of creepy. It's a strange combination. But the second half of the beat is so dope. It's playful, but it bangs at the same time. And it allows for a more fun flow from Eminem. It feels like he's more riding the beat in a way more laid back manner. It doesn't seem like he's so intense on this song, and it seems like he's having just a little bit more fun. One of the only times on the album I feel like he's just having fun on the beat, and great flow throughout. But it is ultimately just another, you know, damaged relationship song that Eminem has. He has a lot of these songs. It was a common trope he used in Revival. Used a lot in Marshall Mathers LP2, and of course it makes an appearance here once again on Kamikaze. And it's, you know, a fine song, but it's definitely a subject that Eminem has tackled before, possibly because he can heavily relate to it. I'm not sure of his love life outside of his music, so, you know, who knows. But anyway, that's the type of song we got here. Just a few bars I want to highlight. Why you gotta be so extra, like a fucking terrestrial. Extraterrestrial dinosaurs. Thought it was a clever line right there. Maybe debatably corny, but I like the line, so I highlighted it. Another bar, Maybe I'm just too ugly to compete with him. You weren't supposed to agree, you fucking bitch. I like that one just because, you know, M has a lot of this self-deprecation in his raps. That's kind of the type of humor he likes to employ sometimes. And as someone who, for better or worse, tends to dabble in that a little bit as well, I think it's funny when M does it. And I think it's funny when he points it out, when you weren't supposed to agree with me, you fucking bitch. Like, that's funny. That's just funny to me, I guess. It's like, I'm probably too ugly. Wait, don't agree. I actually have encounters like that with some of my friends when I'm shitting on myself and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, you're not supposed to agree. It's a funny line. It appeals to my sense of humor. Another bar, and follow you while you drive home, but like a cyclone, I just got my disguise blown. I like that one because cyclone, very windy, and you got your disguise blown as if it was blown off by the wind of the cyclone. Clever bar right there. Pretty good imagery. And then the last bar I want to highlight, but like a drunk bum, what do I know? Let's sleep on it like they did Revival. I like that bar a lot. Well, actually, it's not that I like the bar. It's that I want to bring it up because, yet again, another mention of Revival. It's clear that Eminem had a lot of passion about Revival and that, you know, he clearly tried, and he feels that people just didn't recognize the artistic effort that went into that album. And it's sad to see, and you know, it seems like he's definitely, like he said, he's hurt by it, and henceforth he's talking about it pretty frequently on this album. The next one is yet again another skit. M calls Paul. Just M being critical of the Revival hate, referring to one line someone said that was kind of corny, from the second track, I believe. And it was just basically M just calling out how this journalist, whoever wrote this article he's referring to, said that he just rhymes with chimes, when actually he rhymed an entire sentence with another sentence, which is a very high level rappity rap thing to do. And it just wasn't appreciated. People aren't looking into his music with a deep enough critical eye to recognize and appreciate things like this. And it gets pretty obvious when people, you know, make comments like that, because it clearly just, you know, makes it look like, hey, you didn't really look into this music enough to see anything. You just took it at face value. You didn't dig deeper for anything, and you know, the best art deserves to have a little bit more of a critical analysis on it. And those who don't want to make that critical analysis either just don't care for the art up front, or you know, just not giving it a fair shake, in my opinion. Everything's worthy of critical analysis. It just depends on what you find. And if you don't find much, you know, that's no problem, but you need to look in the first place. So anyway, after that skit, we go on to Stepping Stone. Very, very good track. It gives me vibes of Toy Soldiers off of Encore, if you guys remember that old Eminem song. And it's great to get some closure on a topic that's been on the head of longtime Eminem fans for a long time. Long time. And what is this talking about? Well, I'll highlight this one bar just so you can get an idea. This is the only bar I'm going to highlight from this track. We were so bulletproof, wrote, souped, and soaked in our youth, thought we was running shit till we lost the sole of our shoe. And it's basically talking about the group D12 that Eminem was a part of in the early 2000s. That group effectively disbanded shortly after Proof died. Proof being Eminem's longtime, friend, even back before he was rapping. Proof was the thing that kept D12 together, and once he died, they kind of slowly drifted apart. And the album goes on to talk in fairly vivid detail about, them trying to turn all the members of D12 into solo artists, trying to get them to blow up on their own. It just never happened. And then him basically saying, yeah, the group's over, even though I want to keep my friendship with these individuals, the group is effectively over. And it kind of sucks to hear, but it's great to get some closure on the state of D12, especially after the mixtape that they attempted to put out to revive, the D12 name and to put them back on the radar. They haven't had music out in 11 years at the time that mixtape was put out. I want to say that mixtape came out 2016. I want to say, and I bumped it for a while, but it didn't have too much staying power. And so yeah, the group is over, but I think it was cool for M to address this musically, and not just do a press release or say it in an interview or something. Like literally when when Crooked I left Slaughterhouse, he just did an Instagram video, and articles were written about it and everything. So I appreciate M saying something like this musically in a more heartfelt and emotional way. And so after Stepping Stone, we have yet another more traditional song. This is Not Alike, featuring Royce da 5'9". Now, this has a Tay Keith beat, which I did not expect. Tay Keith, as far as I understand, produces a lot of trap type music. He's pretty popular out there right now. His tagline is, known among trap circles very, very, very heavily. So yeah, funny, catchy hook. He makes a lot of trap references throughout the song, of course. But before even M gets on, Royce da 5'9" flows so well on trap beats like this. If you think this is just a fluke, go listen to Bar Exam 4. It is a whole album in which Royce almost exclusively raps on these trap like beats, and he kills it every time. And then of course M kills it. He has some dope bars and some dope flows as well. And this is also the MGK beef. This is the MGK track the MGK diss track that Eminem put out, and we'll get into that once we get into the bars specifically about him. But Royce, bar highlight I want to say real quick, the sky is blue, the tie is new, the Maserati white and cool like G-Eazy. Kind of a shout out to G-Eazy, which is funny seeing that G-Eazy and Machine Gun Kelly are also in a beef right now. So the fact that Royce shouted him out at the beginning of the song when M comes at MGK towards the end of the song, just a funny dichotomy right there. Another line I want to point out: everybody doing chick joints probably robbed these little dudes at fist point. Everybody used to bite nickel, now everybody doing Bitcoin. I like the visual of robbing people at fist point, because you don't even need a gun to get these people's money. They're so afraid. They're just so not about that life. That's funny visual alone. But the bar, everybody used to bite nickel, now everybody doing Bitcoin, that shit was so perfect. The first time I heard that, I was like losing my damn mind. Because, biting up someone's style is just, taking their style and trying to use it as if it's your own. And everybody's doing Bitcoin. People call Royce da 5'9" nickel 9 because 5'9" nickels. You get the joke, you get the connection. And then Bitcoin, of course, being the trendy new online currency that everyone's trying to use. It's just funny. I thought that bar was just outstanding. So yeah, everybody doing Bitcoin. That's such a dope fucking line right there, man. Royce knows how to do it with the lyrics just as much as Eminem, in my opinion. And then we move on to the next bar. Knowledge is power, but powerless if you got it and you do not acknowledge it. Y'all music sounds like Dr. Seuss inspired it. I like this bar a lot because, knowledge is power, but powerless if you acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, a lot of people out here, a lot of rappers out here. I mean, take T-Pain, for example. Or I don't know if it was T-Pain or if it was Lil Wayne, but I'm pretty sure it was T-Pain. No, it was Lil Jon. I remember there was a thing going around. I don't know if it's true or not. I probably should have looked it up before I recorded the video. But Lil Jon has like some high-level degree, but he decided to just be in music because it was more money there. And so Lil Jon's actually apparently really smart, but he doesn't, display that because it's easier to get the money by being ignorant and just shouting out ad-libs on tracks. No disrespect to Lil Jon, but, I think that's kind of the type of thing Nickel Nine's talking about here. Knowledge is power, but it doesn't really mean anything if you don't acknowledge the fact that you have this power of knowledge. And he just wants people to show that a little bit more in the rap game. And then, of course, the Dr. Seuss line I thought was, very clever because, shit, is it not true? I mean, I feel like most of us have seen that Walk It in My Pocket reading the Dr. Seuss book being read to the beat of Walk It Like I Talk It by Migos. I mean, a lot of this music's starting to sound like it's nursery rhyme type shit. So I just thought that was funny. It's a funny bar from Royce da 5'9", solid bars throughout his entire verse. And then the next verse I want to highlight is Eminem's verse, and he has these bars coming specifically at Machine Gun Kelly, but even the bars themselves are pretty good. Next time you ain't gotta use the Tech 9 if you want to come at me. Next time you ain't gotta use Tech 9 if you want to come at me with a submachine gun. And I'm talking to you, but you already know who the fuck you are, Kelly. Like, submachine gun, just a good line. Now that's supposed to read out, don't come at me with a subliminal diss. But he cuts it off at sub and it puts the comma and then puts machine gun, so it reads out as submachine gun. like, you know, talking about the weapon. Like, clever line right there. And also Tech 9 being a submachine gun, just on top of it, just using the bars right here perfectly. And you know who the fuck you are, Kelly. Reference there because of course he's talking about Machine Gun Kelly, so R, Kelly. But R. Kelly, of course, being the infamous R&B artist who had relations with underage girls in the past. Tried to marry Aaliyah when she was like, what, 16, 17, some age like that. Might have even been 15. And it's kind of funny he's referencing him, R. Kelly, in this because, you know, this whole controversy kind of started back in 2012 when Machine Gun Kelly tweeted that he thought Haley was hot as fuck, but she was only 16 at the time and he was, you know, in his 20s. So, you know, just funny. Just funny how he brings all these connections to it. And then some other bars I want to highlight. Only time you'll ever say I lost, you'll be talking about Fetty Wap. You know, Fetty Wap lost his eye. Good bar there. I, Harvey Weinstein, a bathrobe hanging open. My code name is Groper. I roleplay with lotion. I fuck the whole world, then I throw away the Trojan. Like, yo. That is fucking wild. Once again, I'm pulling from the headlines here. Harvey Weinstein got, you know, taken down justifiably so for a lot of, you know, gross stuff he did to women. And M using that imagery to kind of say what he will do to the whole world. And just, you know, fuck them all up in one swoop. And, you know, kind of fucked up to use Harvey Weinstein in that way, I guess. But, you know, once again, M's not one to mince words. And, you know, this imagery and wordplay is very effective here, especially with the aggressive nature of this track anyway. And another line I want to highlight, I'm fucking invincible, indefensible, despicable, difficult prick, a little bit unpredictable, I spit the formidable. Like, this is not necessarily that what he's saying is impressive, but like the way he said it, because if you listen to this song, this part of the song, his flow is sped up. He's speeding up his flow right here, and then when he hits I'm a little bit unpredictable, like it changes the flow just for that 1 second where he's saying that phrase. And I thought that was such a clever thing to do for people who listen to cadence like that. And so yeah, just dope. Yeah, and then we're gonna go on to the next track, which is titled Kamikaze. And this is effectively FAC 2. So yeah, if you remember FAC from, I want to say, Encore, yeah, this is kind of, maybe indirectly so, but, you know, has vibes of that song. So it's going to have a silly instrumental, very off kilter, definitely, but it matches the vibe of the lyrics, especially the chorus. But the second half of the beat, or maybe not even second half, it's just an outro. It's not very long second half, but it has a more traditional boom bap hip hop type beat. And I like that one quite a bit more than the first half. So yeah, there's a couple bars I just want to highlight. So while I teabag the microphone because I go nuts on it, love that. That's, you know, once a good visual, not a good visual, but a very vivid, you know, example of imagery there again. Teabagging, of course, dropping his nuts on the microphone, literally. But the only reason I blowed up is because I'm white, though. Why don't every other white rapper sell what I sold? Just kind of calling out the people that, you know, say, oh, Eminem's only popular because he's white. He only was a big artist because he's white. And I see that line of thinking and, you know, people raising that question more and more, especially with the legacy of Eminem becoming less and less relevant to this new generation. But, you know, not everyone's selling what Eminem's selling. Not every white rapper is selling what Eminem's selling. Logic's not up there. Mac Miller's not up there. MGK's not up there. And even, you know, Shady Zone Yellow Wolf isn't up there. So, you know, question why other people can't sell what he sold. Maybe talent has something to do with it. You know, just, you know, kind of something he's indirectly hinting towards. And I like this this string of bars he has. I heard your freestyle on Shade 45. That shit was embarrassing. There's no way we ever air that shit again. I guarantee that shit was so ass. It's something we wouldn't dare re-air. Clever line there, just saying, you know, it was so ass we wouldn't dare re-air it. You know, derriere is a butt. So that's just clever right there. Of course, talking about Shade 45, Eminem's Sirius XM network that he owns. Clever bar there. But then a bar not too far after it. The shit's embarrassing as me rear-ending Tara Reid Bear in my therapy chair. My dick is the hair length of Cher. that is just first off, just clever flow, just continuing with that rhyme scheme. He actually did have, some romantic interactions with Tara Reid before, she became gross, I guess, for lack of a more tasteful way to say that. A long time ago, him and Tara Reid were involved. So he still considers that kind of a blight on his romantic escapades, I guess. And then also, my dick is the hair length of Cher. That's just a clever way to say he has a really long dick, because Cher is known for her long hair. If you think about Cher, she has that long hair. So that's just a very clever way of saying my dick is large. So just saying that funnily. And then that's about all the bars I want to highlight off of the Kamikaze track. But overall, I like the track, even though it is pretty off kilter. Pretty just weird. And so then we get to Fall. Yeah, wow. Okay, now I gotta wrap this video up in like 20 minutes. Not because I have to be anywhere in 20 minutes, but because I originally recorded this and it was an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm not trying to make it that long, and I'm already at an hour. Fuck it. I want to get into this, so we're just gonna get into this. Hopefully, at least it won't be longer. So Fall, great understated beat. Definitely more traditional hip hop. It has a little bit of synths in there. Kind of similar to The Ringer, the opening track, but it has a little bit less traditional hip hop for the instrumental in Fall. And then Justin Vernon of Bon Iver, he has vocals on this track as well, even though he no longer wants the credit for it because controversy I'll talk about in a little bit. But the instrumental does let his vocals breathe and kind of gives his vocals a place to be highlighted. And great flows throughout and lots of shots discussed. And we're going to go ahead and highlight some of these in just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and highlight some of the bars. So one line I liked, these rappers are like Hunger Games. 1 minute they're mocking Jay. Next minute they get their style from Migos till they copy Drake. These rappers are like Hunger Games by Mockingjay. Like, that's just clever. Mockingjay being one of the Hunger Games books / movies. Just a clever line right there. And of course, a lot of rappers sound like Migos. A lot of rappers sound like Drake. And it's just M saying that once again. And all the hate, I call it Walk on Watergate. That bar fucked me up the first time I heard it. I thought, I was like, oh shit, Walk on Watergate. Damn. Like, I don't know why it never occurred to me to call all this controversy by that name, but when he said it, I was like, shit, I wish I had tweeted that. And I actually did tweet that. I put that as just like a straight up hashtag the night I was getting hype about the album. So I thought that bar was, magnificent. And then of course we get into some of the shots he took. Somebody tell Button before I snap, he better fasten it or have his body bag get zipped. The closest thing he's had to hits is smacking bitches. Kind of referencing some of the domestic violence disputes that Joe Budden has had in the past, and the fact that Joe Budden shat on Revival to a large degree, especially with the song Untouchable, a song I actually like a whole lot off that album. So yeah, he's coming at Joe Budden about it, but that's not all. He's also coming at Academics, who they both shared the co-hosting duties for Everyday Struggle, but Joe Budden's gone on to bigger and better things now. And don't make me have to give it back to Academics. Say this shit is trash again. I'll have you twisted like you had it when you thought you had me slipping at the telly. Even when I'm getting brain, you'll never catch me with a thought. Referencing, Academics getting caught with a thought. There was this, random chick online who was really just with Academics for his, at the time, fame and growing status and everything. And, that's the main reason she was with him. And he kept her around even though she was just kind of, not like a great person. And so, people caught him with multiple women, like just, these disposable women that he was just, running through. And it was just really, people dragged him on the internet for getting caught. And so it was just, that's back when people were shitting on Academics a lot more. He makes it really easy, unfortunately, but yeah, he's just calling out to that. Funny line right there. And then we go back to Kathy Griffin. There's another line. Kathy Griffin, stacking ammunition, slap the clip in, cock it back on competition. This is how I shot ahead. Gabby Giffords. That line, now I caught the shot ahead quote with Kathy Griffin, because Kathy Griffin, Kathy Griffin, of course, is known for holding up that severed, bloodied head of Donald Trump, fake one, of course. And she did it for some photo shoot or anything to make an artistic statement. Ended up getting fired for CNN for such extreme imagery and such. So, yeah, that did not spell out well for her, but, you know, she blew up off of it. I mean, people knew who she was already, but, yeah, she blew up off of it. And then he's referencing Gabby Giffords. This is another bar I had to look up. Gabby Giffords is an Arizona politician who was shot in the head in 2011 and is now a gun control advocate. So when he says how I shot ahead Gabby Giffords, that's a direct reference to that. Like, fucking hell. Once again, pulling from the headlines, but damn, M is savage. Not necessarily he's, and in all these references, it never feels like he's necessarily, you know, making fun of the victims or anything. It's just he's using these contexts to you know, give more vivid imagery to the things he's talking about doing in the realm of rap with his words. So, you know, it's just funny. It's just funny to see him doing that. And then we have the infamous bars going at Tyler the Creator. Tyler, create nothing. I see why you call yourself a F-word. Bitch, it's not just because you lack attention. It's because you worship D12's balls. You're sacrilegious. You're going to critique me. You better at least be a good or better. Get Earl the Hooded Sweater or whatever his name is dealt. You put together some words, more than just 2 letters. Now, I will compliment some of the bars here. You worship D12's balls. You're sacrilegious. That's a good, you know, ball play. Word play, of course. Because the sack of balls and sacrilegious being a word in of itself, that's just, you know, it's clever. And then get Earl the Hooded Sweater, you know, kind of shout out to Earl Sweatshirt, who many consider to be the best lyricist on golf out of that whole tribe of people over there, back when they were all putting out albums. Yeah, it was cool, but with this F-word comment, now first off, as I've said earlier in this video, and even in the other video where I talked about the reception of Kamikaze, he bleeped this word. So Eminem understands the incendiary nature of this word, and, you know, he decided to bleep it. But also, look at the context in which he's using it. I see why you called yourself this word. M's not necessarily calling him the word. He's saying, I see why you identified as this. I see why you're, you know, why you called yourself this for so long. So yeah, I think it's, a lot of people have written articles and are, you know, dragging M for still using homophobic language and stuff. And I understand that. If people want to, like, dislike Eminem, that's totally fine. It's their prerogative. But if you want to talk about this bar, we're talking about Tyler the Creator, who has used this word in way more incendiary context than Eminem has. In this case, you go back and listen to Goblin. If you're one of those people who only listen to Flower Boy, go back and listen to Goblin. I couldn't even make it through Goblin because it was too much for me. So yeah, I can't take the comments seriously when folks are like, M's homophobic because he said this. Well, you know, M's not homophobic because he said this. I really doubt M's homophobic at all. I mean, I've seen interviews of Elton John talking about how Eminem sent him and his partner 2 platinum cock rings as like a anniversary gift or something. I really doubt Eminem's homophobic. So he's using that mentality once again from underground, from battle rap, where the more shocking something is, the more aggressive something is, you're rewarded positively for it. And he has a good 4 or 5 albums that were widely critically acclaimed and broke a lot of records to positively reinforce that perspective. So it's just him continuing to use that perspective. So I'm not going to fault him too much. I understand it's going to make people upset. But, you know, maybe look into it before you get upset. And if you want to come at Eminem over something, there's some domestic violence stuff in this album you could probably talk about. And maybe that has a little bit more, but, you know, you go for the word, even though the use of the word has a little bit more deeper meaning. So it's fine. We'll go on to some more bars I want to highlight. The fans waited for this moment like the feature when I stole the show. Sorry if it took forever. Of course, referring to the classic Drake, Kanye West, and Lil Wayne song in which Eminem had a feature at the end, and he totally took the show from everyone else. Eminem's verse is all anyone could talk about on that song. And that's kind of around the time when he was returning back from his drug troubles. So yeah, it was cool. Very cool reference there. And the last set of bars I want to highlight. And as far as Lord Jamar, you better leave me the hell alone, or I'll show you an Elvis clone. Walk up in this house you own, thrust my pelvic bone, use your telephone, go to the remote, put my feet up, make myself at home. I belong here, clown. Don't tell me about the culture. I inspired the Hobsons, the Logics, the Coles, the Seans, the K-Dots, the 5 9s and 0. Brought the world 50 Cent. You did squat, piss and moan, but I'm not gonna fall, bitch. I think that was so fucking gratifying to me, because a lot of people, you know, with the not success of Revival, not critical success of Revival, and people just questioning his legacy overall now, people are trying to say, like, you know, why is M even part of the culture? Why is he even considered part of the, you know, the black culture, the hip hop culture specifically? Why is he even coming up? And people like Lord Jamal have brought, you know, M's relevance in the culture to question. And I'm glad M just straight up said it himself, that he has too much influence on hip hop culture to be just counted out and to be just wiped away effectively. Too many artists find inspiration from him. You know, Kendrick finds inspiration from him, and Kendrick is undeniably the GOAT at the moment. You know, the lyrical people that are really respected lyrically, you know, Cole and Sean. And then, you know, you got your smaller people that, you know, get a lot of criticism. You know, Hobson gets a lot of criticism. I don't listen to him too much, but I know a lot of people don't like him. Logic, you know, even though a lot of people liked his earlier works, you know, everybody didn't sit with people as much as they would have liked. So, he inspires a lot of the landscape. And of course your 5 9s, not just referring to Royce the 5 9, but, you know, you got your Fabulouses, you got your Black Thoughts out there. They all, you know, real recognizes real. So it's those older gentlemen that have been doing it for a longer time, that still have the bars. So he's acknowledging that he has influence. And then, of course, you got your 50 Cents. Your 50 Cents that have heavily contributed to the culture. We remember how big 50 Cent was back in the day. And he's still, you know, fairly relevant, you know, with power and everything. Just not as relevant as he is with the music itself. So it's really cool. It's just really cool to see Eminem just straight up just snatch that argument off the table of him not being part of the culture. Because I've always believed that Eminem's been a, you know, fairly important part of the culture. So yeah, I'm glad to see he's just straight up saying that, maybe taking the wind out of the sails. And people are going to still question, because, you know, it's the internet. Someone has to hate something. But, you know, I like it that he said it on the track finally. And so getting towards the end of this album review, we have Nice Guy featuring Jessie Reyez. I believe Reyez is how I'm saying it, but that's how I'm going to say it. She's a singer. I love this young lady's voice. I think it meshes well on this track. The hook goes hard in such a fucked up way. The hook is literally, suck my dick, you fucking suck, man. I hope that your heart gets hit by a semi-truck. It's really like dark and sadistic, but the instrumental is like so like bassy. It literally sounds like those memes where like it's a series of like distorted GIFs that is like kind of becoming a meme. And there's this one distorted GIF in particular from the Cosby Show. I know, just bear with me here. And it was like, you know, Bill Cosby just like hanging out, just completely normal face, and he does one of those like woo, like he just heard something like just heard the dopest beat of all time, or just heard like that stank face, you know. It was him making that face, but as he made the face, he like bent back, and when he bent back, the GIF got distorted and his face just got lost. That's what the beat of this sounds like. When the bass drops, it just sounds like, oh my god, it's fucking like I'm blacking out in the chaos and I'm just punching everything in the throat. That's what the beat kind of feels like to me. And it's not that like the beat is chaotic. It's very simple, but it's just like, ooh, it just feels tribal in a way. It feels like I want to fuck some shit up in the mosh pit. So it's really good. There's not that many bars to highlight, if I'm honest. But the flow is solid throughout. The one bar I would like to highlight, like my monthly bill from Sprint, they charging me for a selfie. I thought that was a cute bar. Cute. I feel like I keep saying cute, and that's like somewhat disrespectful, but it's whatever. I thought it was a cool bar. You know, cellular phone fee, selfie. They're charging for pictures. I thought it was just cool. I like that bar. One of the few bars that I felt was highlight worthy, so I wanted to say something about it. And then we go on to Good Guy, which is yet again, I feel like Nice Guy and Good Guy are just two halves of the same song, but they were both pretty substantial on their own, so it seems like they got broken up into 2 songs. Good Guy still features Jesse Reyes. There's apparently, I've seen in an interview, a heavily distorted Kingdom Hearts sample on this song. I can't recognize it myself, partially because it's heavily distorted, and also I just don't play Kingdom Hearts like at all. I respect that franchise, but it's just not one for me. I'm a Disney fan, so that's the only reason I care about that franchise at all. So yeah, it's cool that sample's on there, and the final singing section from Miss Reyes brings the track together very, very well. And there's a handful of bars on here that I actually like to highlight, because Nice Guy and Good Guy are both, damaged relationship tracks again. But with Nice Guy, it's going way more aggressive. It's more that fuck you attitude with it. But Good Guy is a more apologetic tone, a more softer tone. And with M, speaking in a little bit more remorseful vibe. And the instrumental calls out to that too, because the instrumental in Good Guy is very like operatic and slightly more grand than the really grungy, heavy bass of Nice Guy. So in Good Guy, he talks about well here I'll highlight just 3 sections of bars I want to highlight. But still give me hope that we'll get through it together. A severed earlobe mailed to you in an ENV elope would be dope, but what kind of lengths can you go? Pull a Vincent Van Gogh just to convince a damn hoe. I like that one a lot. The flow on there was pretty on point. He spelled out envelope to kind of maintain that flow. But this is actually a reference to Vincent Van Gogh himself, who actually in real life cut off his ear once to prove his love to a girl. And I just didn't expect M to dig that deep for a bar. Actually, no, I did expect that. He's done shit like this forever. But I just didn't think he'd use like a classical music reference. that's some high art shit, or that's just some that's next level shit. I'll say it's some next level shit, not necessarily put the like artistic aura around it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. Another bar I want to highlight. I'm taking 2x4s to our 8x10s. Such a good line. It took me a while to get what he was saying there. 2x4s being planks of wood, and 8x10s being the typical frame size for a picture frame. And so he's smashing all these old pictures of, the relationship. Just very vivid picture once you get the picture, and just a very clever way to portray that. I just thought that bar was, pretty ingenious. And then the last bar I want to highlight from this song, guess you take life the same way you play dice in, because you just look at me and roll them little snake eyes in. Like, oh my god. Talking about, her rolling her eyes, of course, but rolling the snake eyes like dice, that's good imagery, but also just clever wordplay. M continues to prove he's talented in that arena. And then finally we have Venom, music for the motion picture. And Venom actually has a handful of bars here as well. Now, I'll talk more about the song generally. This is a more lyrical Eminem song than I'm used to for most of his promotional tracks. It still has that smell of a movie song though, so it's not, even though it is way more lyrical than a normal movie soundtrack type song, it still has that sting of, oh, this has to appeal. And the chorus, now everyone's been saying this, but the chorus is pretty grating on this song. It's literally just venom, adrenaline in 'em, venom, that's omen in 'em, venom, an omen in 'em. It's it gets pretty annoying pretty quickly, and it's, I don't want to say it's catchy, but it will definitely stick in your head. It will definitely stick in your head. Yeah, the chorus is rough on this one, but he has great flow throughout just about the entire song. And I really like how he wrapped it up at the end. This is the only string of bars I'm going to highlight from this final track. He says, so escaping me is impossible. I latch onto you like a parasite, and I probably ruined your parents' life and your childhood too. Because if I'm the music that y'all grew up on, I'm responsible for you retarded fools. I'm the super villain Dad and Mom was losing their marbles to. You marvel that Eddie Brock is you, and I'm the suit. So call me. And then leads into the chorus, Venom. Dude, I thought that was such a great way to bring it around, with him being the parasite that infected the young minds of all these kids. And, saying he's responsible for that, and then kind of flipping that back over to the Marvel. I mean, you marveled that, and then Eddie Brock being, the man behind the mask with Venom, and Eminem is the symbiote. He's the suit. Thought that was just a really clever way to bring it all together at the end of this movie soundtrack, and to bring a little bit of a nice ending to Kamikaze in general. It kind of speaks on some of Eminem's themes, just as an artist himself outside of the movie. And I thought it was a clever way to tie the movie themes into, themes of just M in general. That's about it. This video ended up being an hour and 20 minutes, despite my best attempts. Despite recording it twice, despite having notes the second time, I still managed to go over an hour. But it's fine. I'll be posting this anyway. Overall, Kamikaze, an album I really, really dig. I like this album. Even though I've been growing more fond of Revival over the last couple weeks, couple months, it's better than Revival, without a doubt. I'd say it's probably on par for me with Marshall Mathers LP 2. Once again, I like that album a whole lot. I like Marshall Mathers LP 2 quite a bit. Sonically, it's probably up there with Recovery and the Eminem Show for me. So putting Kamikaze up there in that similar field, in that similar range, is high praise in my book. Kamikaze, solid work for M. Solid work from M. And we will see what happens next with M. Now, I kind of feel bad because the whole woke Eminem thing he was doing with Revival, I really did appreciate. If he just had different producers, I'm sure people would have accepted it more. But he's throwing that whole vibe from Revival away in favor of this more aggressive Kamikaze vibe, it seems. And we'll see how that works out for him. He is 45 years old. Lord only knows what's happening next, if he's going to keep this anger and aggression up. But in any case, no matter what he does, I'm almost certain there will be some great bars behind it. Can't wait to see what the future holds. Can't wait to see if this anger, and less the anger continues, more the passion. I'm more interested in the passion than the anger. I just hope M stays passionate, and can't wait to see what he has next. And hopefully y'all can't wait to see what I have next on this channel. Hopefully not another hour and 20-minute long video, for the love of God. So thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said, watch that other Kamikaze video if you want to see my reactions to the reactions of Kamikaze. That one actually got a little bit deep. I was afraid to upload that one for a while. I was afraid, people would give me shit for some of the things I said in there, but ultimately it's been pretty civil. So thank y'all for watching this one, and I'll see y'all in the next video. And as I always say, keep it real, keep it true.